Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're here today with Clackamas County Clerk, Catherine McMullen. My name is Scott Anderson. I'm the Clackamas County Public Information Officer. So starting today and going into this coming week, Clerk McMullen will host a daily 2 p.m. media availability regarding the November 5th election. So here's what will happen in today's media availability. So I'll turn it over to Clerk McMullen for her statement, and then we'll start taking questions after that. I'll go off screen, but be calling on you in the order that you raise your hands. And if I accidentally take a call on someone out of turn, please be patient with me, and I'll get to you as soon as possible. And when I do unmute you, please tell us your name and the name of your media outlet. Okay, so with that, I will turn it over to Clerk McMullen.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for everyone that's attending today. I do appreciate your attention and letting me share information with you. As we shared yesterday, we've been having persistent issues with our mail ballot sorter, and the mail ballot sorter is the part of the elections process at the beginning that first receives the ballot. All the ballots run through the sorter. An image is taken of the back of the ballot envelope. And the back of the ballot envelope is where your signature is. And then those images then are compared by election workers to the images on the voter registration record. If the image matches, your signature matches, then it's accepted. If it does not match, or if there's a question if it matches, then it becomes unaccepted, and then that's reviewed further by senior staff before a ballot is challenged. This allows us to process a large number of ballots quickly because it has had repeatedly broken down over last week and into this week. It has slowed down our ballot processing in a way that was, was not okay. And it also has slowed down the ability for voters to be able to see that their vote had been received and accepted in My Vote, and then also our popular Track Your Ballot service. We have had the vendor technician on site first at the beginning of this week, and then he came back. A different technician came back yesterday evening. He flew in from Phoenix and was here from 6 until 8. And the good news to report is that he has fixed the mail ballot sorter again. It has been repaired. And so we have been using it normally today. We have moved 12,000 ballots completely through that process, and they are moving on to opening boards. And so we are actively processing ballots through the whole process again as we speak. And we do expect to stay on track and to start to catch up from where we were through the week. I'm available to answer questions. I'm happy to speak to you all. I figured I'd start with that opening information and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Okay, Dirk, you are up.
Hey there, Dirk Vanderhart with Oregon Public Broadcasting. Just a couple questions. Do you all do any kind of work to make sure that this machine is going to work ahead of the time ballots go out so that maybe things like this don't pop up? And secondly, I guess, given that you've had repeated difficulties, I mean, what is your level of confidence that this thing won't break down again? Is there any certitude that this isn't going to pop up again?
Those are great questions, Dirk. We have a regular maintenance and repair schedule that we have followed, and the vendor has been out multiple times this year. And this mail ballot sorter is reaching its end of life. We started a process to select and purchase a new mail ballot sorter last fall, so the fall of 2023. That mail ballot sorter was selected, and we had that contract signed in September. And this is the last election that this mail ballot sorter is going to do for us because it has reached its end of life. We'll have a new piece of equipment in place for the May 2025 election. So yes, we have been doing the regular maintenance, have had the vendor out. It just has broken down repeatedly. I was thankful that yesterday evening, a more experienced technician came out last night, and the vendor has agreed to have him on site through next Friday. So November 8th, which is when we expect to be done processing the majority of ballots received for this election.
Great. Thank you, Dirk, for the question. And Lynn, it's to you.
Yeah, hi, Lyn Terry with the Oregon Capital Chronicle. Um, a few questions. I'm curious, Catherine, one, what the current backlog is. I'm also curious about this machine. Who's the vendor? How old is it? You know, how much do they cost? Um, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start with talking about the machine. So this is a machine from Runback. This machine was purchased in 2015 and was first put into use in 2016. So it is reaching its end of life. And the vendor that we have selected for our new machine is Blue Crest. And it is the same vendor that other large counties in Oregon use. So we are looking forward to having that new machine for the May 2025 election. The current backlog, so as of yesterday, we had 52,000 ballots that had not yet been processed through the mail ballot sorter. Today, we received 8,400 ballots in our daily pickup of drop sites in the mail. We've moved 12,000 ballots through the mail ballot sorter today so far. So that leaves us with 48,400 ballots that we have not yet started processing. Our turnout, which I know you and I had shared emails about this, our daily ballot return report is not reflecting where we are exactly right now. Our estimated turnout right now with the ballots in-house, including ones not yet been processed by the mail ballot sorter, is at 45% for this election.
So you 45% currently with
Yeah.
the ballots you've got in but haven't been put through the signature.
Yeah, ballots
area.
received today. Yeah.
Okay. How much do these machines cost?
I will have to double check the number, but our contract that we just signed is for about $680,000, and that includes installation, maintenance, and software for a number of years. And I can give you the specifics on that. I know I had that question yesterday and I responded, but I will send that to you as well.
Okay, so that's a chunk of change for a county to lay out, right?
Yes. Yeah, and generally the large counties in Oregon and in other states have mail ballot sorters, but the smaller counties do not.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you, Lynn. Aviva, you're up.
Hi, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. I'm Aviva with the Oregonian. I was wondering how long mail ballot sorter machines typically last for.
Yeah, so ours is reaching its end of life, and that would be through, I think typically through this election. So 2016 through 2024. That means it would have, and it depends on the number of pieces processed rather than years, but this mail ballot sorter is finishing up its third presidential cycle here at Clackamas County. And it is time for it to be replaced, and we knew that. So we started this process, which took a good year, but we're looking forward to having a new ballot sorter in place for the next election.
Got it. And do you know what happened that made the problem recur over the last week?
So there's been a number of different mechanical issues. The one that was solved last night was that one of the sensors, the belt had worn through the connecting through it. So literally had worn it through. And so it was no longer functioning. And once that sensor was replaced, it was functioning again.
Got it. And I think you were scanning ballots by hand while it was broken down. Is that correct? Do you know how many were processed?
Yeah, no. So what we had done yesterday was put a process into place so that we can use a hand scanner when we're scanning and verifying signatures. We have not yet had to put that in place full scale because the sorter was repaired last night. But that is ready to go now. If the sorter goes down again, we will immediately put that into place. We increased our signature verification stations. We doubled those to 20. And so even if we don't have to do the hand scanning, we've increased staff who are doing signature verification, which will help us get caught up from not being able to do this work while the mail ballot sorter was not working.
Got it. And so do you still have 130 temporary election workers, or have you increased that number?
No, we still have 130 temporary election workers. We have just reassigned resources where they're needed in the process.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Aviva. Dirk, we'll unmute you.
Yeah, thanks. I've heard you say, Catherine, talking about November 8th and wanting to get most ballots counted by then. That has been sort of the benchmark. Obviously, a lot of people look to election night and specifically that 8 p.m. drop. And I know it's changed a little bit, the proportion of votes we typically see then, but given that this thing is working right now, do you assume that you will have a markedly lower amount of votes reflected than you might in a normal election where this was working perfectly? I'm just trying to get a sense of where what we might see and be impacted by.
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now our mail ballot sorter is functioning exactly as it should as of this morning. And so I double checked that before I walked into this room. We do have a plan in place if it does have a mechanical issue again, which is possible. But our goal is that if you return your ballot on Monday, that it is included in election night results. At this point, I do not yet know if we're going to reach that goal. But we are working to see where we're at. We are working all day today. We're also working tomorrow. And we will see where we're at later in the day tomorrow on Saturday in terms of how much that we've processed. Because right now we're at 40,400 that are getting ready to move through the scanner. I mean, the mail ballot sorter.
Okay, thanks. That's helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Lynn, back to you.
Yeah, okay, unmuted. Yeah, I was just wondering, how many hours a day is this thing running now? Are you like, pulling all-nighters? And how many ballots under the normal cycle that you would, staff it for? And like, how many hours would you normally staff it for? How many ballots can it process? And I just had one other question. I missed, you said that if the ballots get in by Monday, they'll be counted election night. Does that get in via a drop box, or does that count the post office as well?
So that is what my goal is for every election, is that if you return your ballot if it's received in our office on Monday,
Okay.
then we're able to include it. It takes up to a week for mail to arrive once you put it in the mail. But if you put it into one of our official ballot drop sites, we'll pick it up within 24 hours. We have sworn election workers that pick up from each of our 26 official ballot drop sites every day. They'll also be picking up tomorrow, and we will be looking at if we need to also pick up on Sunday. I wanted to get back to your question about capacity. So this mail ballot sorter allows us to do the signature verification. With this mail ballot sorter, a worker can do signature verification for about 700 ballots per hour. With a hand scanner, the election worker can do signature verification at about 500 ballots per hour. And because we got behind because the mail ballot sorter wasn't working, we did increase our signature verification stations. We doubled them. So that is allowing us to begin to get caught up and move at the pace that we want to move at for this election. I think there was another question, Lynn. Was there another one before?
Yeah, I was just wondering what your hours are. Are you working?
Okay. Yes. No, great question. So our observation schedule is on our website, and when our observation is open, that's when we're working. So today it's from 8 to 6 p.m. And I believe it's from 8 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. At least that's what we're updating it to.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Aviva's got a follow-up.
Hello. I was wondering how many hand scanners you have in the office?
Yeah, so we have more than 20 for
Okay.
each of those signature verification stations.
And how many have you been using?
We have not had to use this.
Okay.
What we worked on yesterday was moving the ballots through that got stuck partially through the process, because the mail ballot sorter sees each of the ballots twice, the first time to get the image and the second time to move it to the accepted or not accepted stage. So the scanning of the ballot, the barcode on the ballot return envelope is our backup if the mail ballot sorter goes down again.
Okay, but it hasn't been used thus far.
No, not any wide amount, no.
Okay, but in a small amount?
Yes, it was used in a limited fashion yesterday as we worked through ballots that had been partially gone through the process with the mail ballot sorter.
Got it, thank you.
And Lynn, you're back up.
Yeah, sorry for repeated questions. I'm just wondering, and I know this isn't directly related to the machine, but are you seeing an abnormally large number of rejected ballots? Is there any difference that you're seeing this year than you might have seen in previous years?
So I'm not 100% sure what your definition of rejected ballots. So I would define that as a ballot that's been unaccepted because the signature doesn't match or there's no signature on the envelope. So I can talk about that. We have not seen any larger amount. What we do occasionally see more often is folks who had registered to vote at the DMV and use one of the electronic pads to sign, and then that's the only signature that we have on record to verify. Often we catch that during the first election. We can let the voter know through challenging their ballot. They're able then to update their voter registration with a wet signature, and then we have that wet signature on file, and then it isn't an issue moving forward. One of the great things about the process is if your signature is challenged, you have up to 21 days, excuse me, after election day, which is November 26th at 5 p.m. to cure that and have your vote counted. And so we are sending out letters every day if someone has had their signature challenged, and then that notification also goes out through the Track Your Ballot notification system so that they can call us too, and we can help them go through that process so we can count their vote.
Do you know offhand how many registered voters there are in Clackamas County?
Yeah, let me look. I can tell you. So our eligible voter pool changes daily as voters move out of Clackamas County and then re-register and move into Clackamas County. And as of this morning, there's 319,831 total eligible voters.
So eligible, but what about registered?
That's eligible voters for this election. So that would be active registered voters.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. I don't see anybody else who has a hand up, so we'll make this last call for any questions. Nope. Okay.
Okay. Can I go ahead
So-
and share a bit more information?
Go. Yeah,
Okay.
please.
I just want to mention that we are open to observation anytime that we're processing ballots. That schedule is on our website, and that includes tomorrow. We're open Saturday for observation, but also we're open to the public at both our office here in Oregon City and at the Happy Valley Vote Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you need some help getting a replacement ballot or have a question that we can help you with, that's what we're here for. And then again, our drop sites are picked up daily by sworn election workers. And then we also pick up the mail from the post office daily. Those have been some questions that we have received on the phone. So I just wanted to address that.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll end today's media availability with Clerk McMullen. If you end up having questions after today's media availability, please send an email to pio@clackamas.us, and I'll route those to Clerk McMullen to get answers. So again, my name is Scott Anderson, the PIO with Clackamas County, and I want to say thank you to Clerk Catherine McMullen for today's media availability. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.